Uy,
Introduction kan ni? Kamu saya.
introduction ya. Sari berita penting. Are we rolling?
Yes.
So okay, welcome to Sip Sip with Egan. Kamu orang yang tiap hari mau duduk dekat-dekat jauh-jauh. We have audience. Ya, mari. So we have an audience sini, tapi being Sabahans, they're very stubborn. And anyway, welcome to Sip Sip with Egan and Megan. Wow.
Egan and Megan.
Every episode is special, and this is like one of the paling special because I have a cup in my pocket yang tidak kopi. Tolong saya. Megan, we go straight to you lah. So today is the closing of my friend's exhibition, and with that we have something of some sort of interview. And thank you for saying yes,
Yes.
to this. Thank you for being so patient with me. Tidak berapa kali sudah kami plan and then tercancel.
Ya,
dan
2-3 kali kali.
Ya, si Ikan minta satu lagi untuk
Kenapa, Bah? Okey, Bah.
and thank you everyone else for coming in support of Megan. Saya tahu kalau saya sendiri saja, kamu confirm tidak datangnya.
Thank you.
Kita start lah.
Start lah.
Okay. So how do you describe yourself?
How do I describe myself?
I want to do this like I don't know you.
You don't.
Memang
Okay.
I don't know you. So how do you describe yourself?
Speaking Malay ke atau speaking
Antam
English?
saja. Okay, saja. Boleh
So,
saja.
saya rasa saya adalah orang yang gila in a good way. Macam mana juga dia ceria juga, but at the same time I hold a lot inside of me. Like I don't express myself a lot, even though I laugh a lot, but deep inside me I have a lot of things like I worry about, my family. Macam saya risau saya punya nenek. Saya risau about yang apabila kau sudah turun padang dan kau nampak komuniti yang ditindaskan, yang you just care about everyone. You just want them to, you just want them to bangkit sebab dia ditindas sudah ba. So, tapi tidak tahu macam mana mau ubah. Itu saja. But then I describe myself as I have passion, and my weakness is that I'm being so kind. I always being kind to people that until people take me for granted.
Can I cut you there?
Yep.
Mungkin for the first 20 seconds it has become too deep. Can we go back to where it started?
Okay.
Okay. Since you made this an opportunity for me to ask, time kau budak-budak, time kau, I want to jump into this topic where it's you.
How I start myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
All these tendencies, all this. So we're talking about LGBTQIA++, and I guess what I'm asking is, how did it started? Not just physically, not just mentally, spiritually, but what was that yang tiba-tiba macam, I don't know, what was the feeling? Apa perasaan kau yang, I don't know. Can you like?
Okay,
I mean, for instance, like
I talk about
macam,
my childhood.
Yeah.
Okay, I talk about my childhood. So, childhood, I think that my childhood is happy. I have my neighbor, my best friend neighbor, and it's like my childhood having friends is the most happiest moment. But when you're in school, especially in high school, being the cool kids, on top of that, having a lot of achievement, belajar cemerlang dalam seni, apalagi co-curriculum, all of that, you will see, kau tidak akan nampak saya di bawah. Selalu di atas saja. So macam, it is something that I proud what I'm doing. And, joining, kau cakap saya ada club PBSM saja, macam tu, tidak, saya join. Interact club saya pun ada join. Vocational club pun saya join. Segala-galanya punya club, macam saya satu orang mempunyai 9 club. Choir, kebudayaan, all of those. And then saya punya result yang flying colours punya. But the point is my parents. So my parents, dia tidak pernah yang, they never feel proud of me. And I never noticed that one. I always think that, being the cool kids, being the perfectionist, budak-budak cemerlang ni, your parents will be proud of you. Then, one day, saya punya parents dijemput pergi sekolah untuk ambil anugerah sebab saya perkhidmatan cemerlang, pelajar perkhidmatan cemerlang di sekolah. After that, everyone semua orang tepuk tangan dengan huha di di bawah, because jadi pelajar cemerlang. After receive that award, in that moment, lepas balik daripada receiving that award, in the car, my dad saying, do you think that I feel, kau rasa saya banggakan dengan achievement kau? Dia cakap, dengan kau punya achievement macam ni, semua kau ingat orang huha di bawah ni, semua orang bersorak untuk kau. Sebenarnya orang tidak bersorak untuk saya. Dia cakap, orang mengolok saya sebab saya adalah pondan, sisi. But then, because in that environment, you always feel like you never enough for your parents. Yeah, I think that is the moment that triggered me that I want to fight for me to become for who I am. And yeah, I become rebel. I think that I become a rebel. Not really that bukan yang jenis yang memberontak yang macam mana ni melanggar undang-undang begitu. Tapi yang memberontak yang keluar pergi clubbing, yang tidak lupa dunia sudah, yang memang balik pun 5-7 pagi macam tu. That is how I rebel.
Awal pagi lah.
Emang awal pagi. Kadang-kadang macam 7 pagi kau mau pergi sekolah, 5 pagi, 6 pagi baru kau sampai. Because that moment, umur 15 tahun sudah saya pergi masuk ras matas with my neighbor. So, memang kami liar lah time tu. Memang sangat liar lah. I cannot deny that moment. Sampai saya punya bapa.
Can I cut you there? How are you physically? This is 15, 16, 17?
It was like 15 or 16. So I was like masih physically like a boyish because tahulah sekolah menengah you're not allowed to grow your hair. But then at the age of 16, I already actually start taking hormones. But secara silently lah because I don't want my parents to figure it out. Saya save saya punya saya punya duit sekolah. And then saya beli pill. It's actually not a pill hormone kalau di Malaysia lah. That one is actually birth control pill, which is actually not good for myself.
Is it expensive?
It is expensive. At that moment, it's 32 ringgit. For a student like me, to buy a 32 ringgit punya memang is expensive for me lah. Yeah.
Then how do you cope? Like, I mean, other students they have their own, mau pergi tengok wayang, mau pergi. Then how do you have to save up a lot, like to have this kind of life, ras matas, and then the medication.
Okay.
Does that affect how you think?
I'm lucky That's all I'm lucky. My neighbor, my neighbor is the one yang we have link in the club. So kami sangat jahat. So call sini, ada on ka. Wait. So and then after that, kalau di dalam punya apa bonza, okay, on je jawab. Masuk free.
Okay.
This is how I think my childhood is the best. It's because of saya start memberontak awal sudah ba. So at this age, like I was like at the age of 19 or 22, saya tidak memberontak sudah. Yang macam if you give me minum, if you give me apa, all of this club, I was like no. I enjoy all of this like early already.
Awal pension lah.
Ya pension awal lah.
Right. So I guess it's obvious that you've moved on, like can we say like your calling to stand up for other. Do you see people alike atau do you want to stand up for like siapa saja tadi tu, atau kau kenal yang because you're fortunate kau mau tolong golongan yang tertindas yang macam kau begitu?
I think that saya start advocacy is when I went to an interview. Dia cakap interview ni, owner kepada company ni, dia cakap saya rela in English I rather hire a stupid girl instead of a smart transgender. That moment I was like I'm speechless, and I went for an interview because I appropriate my all of it, like I dress up my tie is like polite ba. And the way that I think that every time that my first impression is make everyone like me, but I couldn't. But the first time yang kau kena reject on the spot, it was like I was like bow, and then I was like go. That is my struggle.
Does that happen a lot? I mean,
that is the first time that I feel being rejected, like when you got rejected like so hard because you want that job so bad, and you think that you want that position because you think that you can nail that position ba. But then disebabkan of all of this discrimination, it would just hit me so hard that how can I make them realize that kau mau upah saya sebab saya punya kebolehan, sebab saya punya kekuatan yang akan membuatkan kau punya syarikat atau kau punya organisasi atau persatuan anda lagi mantap. Tetapi kau telah reject saya sewenang-wenangnya.
Saya rasa macam sakit ni because kau cerita time school kau begini berapa banyak club, berapa banyak achievement, berapa banyak semua ni kan, and then coming out and rejection. How is that how does that make sense?
Yep.
I mean,
it doesn't make sense.
Sakit hati kan?
Sakit. Dan sakit hati yang the pain kills you not just from your parents, but from syarikat, all of the interview. And I went for the second interview that I been through before. The second time is manager. Dia cakap, we would prefer that you wear, according to your IC. Dia cakap macam tu. So saya pun yang, okay, I understand. Begitulah yang I went for my second interview yang kena reject. So those pain kan yang make me reflect is what did I do wrong? Just because of my gender, that is, is not normal compared to what you consider as yourself as normal. That, make me struggle. That is why we have a lot of people that work as a sex worker is because of they're facing all of this discrimination. Even though they have qualification, they being certified, but it's just that they lack of this opportunity.
Lack of opportunity. So when you say people turn to sex workers, prostitution, did that somehow entered your mind, pernah kau terfikir bagusnya beginilah?
No, because this is how I face all of the sexual harassment where I never thought of being a sex worker. But however, when the society is already like objectify me as a, pekerja seks, kau mesti pandai melakukan benda-benda yang batin. Of course, that one is maybe dulu punya trans because of the lack of opportunity. They have to do so because they have to survive. They need to put food on the table. But in my case is when you being objectified sebagai sebagai sex worker, sebagai tempias nafsu untuk lelaki, terutamanya lelaki lah. So it was like harga diri saya tidak sedap. Macam marah saya tercabar. Yang saya pun kadang-kadang feeling there is a few scene yang sexual harassment where I'm not brave enough to tell everyone. That moment is because of I don't know the law very well. I don't know my rights, and especially being a transgender woman is because I lodged a report before and the authority is laughing at me instead of taking action. So yeah, that is what I've been facing before. And that is the reason why I fight so hard.
There's this connotation when you look in Malaysian lah. I want to say Malaysian films. Tidak kira lah dia film pendek kah, panjang kah, box office kah. When a transgender, when this person comes into play, it's always funny. It's always like a comedic relief, and I don't want to say my opinion because I know my opinion is what, but I think this country particularly has its views set sudah. Kalau diorang yang di sini, dia mesti dia lucu begitu, and it has to be made fun of because of who they are. What's your opinion on that?
I think time saya was sekolah menengah when they say that pondan tidak sepatutnya keluar dalam rancangan television, and I was like, why? Why we can't become a celebrity? Why we cannot be featured on the newspaper? And I was questioning myself as well. Am I not am I not beautiful enough to be featured on a magazine or radio? And then saya pun yang memang takut lah, to be honest, because I takut people make fun of me. It's not because of my talent. I'm scared of people make fun of me. Oh, because she's a trans. She's supposed to be being making fun of. Yeah.
I feel sick when we not just on TV, like bila kita as macam sekolah menengah begitu kan, kena suruh kita mau berlakon pasal anak-anak yang nakal atau mereka yang buat kerja-kerja negatif, mesti ada satu yang kau jadi yang inilah, kau jadi begitu, lepas tu kau pergi buat kerja yang begini, and I guess there was one time in my life where I was questioning, and that was a time where I was sexually abused, and it was serious for me to wonder, like, how is it like? Would it be a different life if I went this way? And I was scared because in this form of living kan macam tidak ada benda yang orang boleh tengok kau as something that is positive. Like I guess, I mean, sorry, but like what your dad say, macam kau ingat saya bangga ka? Then I felt that ni yang would that be the macam mana? Akan jadi begini selama-lamanya kah? Begitu. So saya jadi macam risau ni for because in where I was schooling, my friends ada banyak begitu. And I didn't see it, I never see it until now. I don't see it as a problem. But saya kasihan diorang ni. Saya kasihan macam one is like when it comes to having friends, they have a limited amount of friends yang kenal dirang saja. The expansion, the extended version of friends for them would mean that it doesn't come naturally, but dirang kena, they have to like work hard for these kind of things. Itu yang saya rasa lah.
Macam punya rasa lah sebab like you don't see macam people always say sissy boy or maybe or a apa or a pondan or a trans woman, you know, that holding the main character. They always being the side character yang, you know, jadi bahan lucu untuk macam untuk orang ketawa saja. Tapi deep down kami pun ada kami punya kami punya what we fight for.
There was a production by Greenleaf Theatre back in 2012, 13, 14 maybe. Masih pakai kertas mahjong time tu as the backdrop, the library dongongan. And they acted out a very serious, bikin nangis trans woman punya issue. Jasmine Raja's sister, siapa? Jacinta Raja. She was acting out the character, and there was a monologue in the end of this the whole play. Dia cakap, ini semua salah kamu, dia bilang, pointing to the camera. Ini semua salah kamu, dia bilang. Because of you, I have to be a prostitute. Because of you, I cannot be accepted by society. Because of you, because of you, because of you. And I guess I had a lot of questions before I saw that play. So after that kan macam fuck, this is so eye-opening ni, and you cannot help but just to embrace these members of the society. And dulu you cannot like pinpoint like kenapa dirang masalah betulnya, kenapa dirang masalah, kenapa society fikir dirang masalah, kenapa dirang tidak boleh like berdamai or something. Like there's this
Dirang
cold
tidak dapat
war.
cari
After that play, shit, you know yang both needs to have a role to play. They need to see what they need to do, because even okay, 90, I might get in trouble for this, but I don't care. Back in 97, 98, ada a lot of my friends working in KFC from the LGBT community. And okay je pun. And then I realized back then the highest position in the Wisma KFC punya apa dia kan, maybe we can bleep this out later. Pro-religious punya orang ni, and I was like shit, they are doing the thing. Dirang okay lah, they go pergi church, pergi sembahyang and in front of the congregation or begini punya barang tidak boleh, but behind they still provide the opportunity for these family members of the society to have a place. And I don't know, I feel it's fucked up at the same time, it's beautifully that you're doing titaw lah.
In a different way.
I guess.
Yeah. I think the one thing yang saya sangat-sangat akan ingat ialah when I joined CSO, and then we have this CSO platform for reform, and then they have this
Apa itu CSO?
civil society organization platform for reform.
Okay.
Yeah. So I joined this, then they have this workshop, and this workshop is, they have a dialogue session with the parish in the church. Then terkejut saya ialah when this sister say that why not understand LGBT instead of discriminate them. I was like, sister, did you just talking? Sister, you just talking in the church. I was like, amen. Amen. I was like, oh, Tuhan kau jawab doa aku. It was like that moment, I think that there is hope. There is hope among all of us. There is hope among the society. Until today as well, I fight for all of the LGBTIQ plus community, because I think that they are human, and as a LGBT human rights defender as well, my job is to protect all of the human beings. As long as they, born to this world, they are entitled for rights.
Sorry, sekarang sip-sip with Megan, bukan
Sip-sip with Megan. Mau.
Okay.
Masih. Lorling sudah kan deh? Lorling sudah. Jangan, nanti dia bilang makeup gitu.
Baik, tidak. Oke juga.
Okay, ada satu soalan yang dalam otak saya lah. Can you tell the difference between the 15-year-old Megan and the 26-year-old Megan now?
That's 32.
Oh, okay.
I wish I'm 26. Begitulah.
What's the difference?
Is it still?
It's rolling. It's rolling.
Oh, okay. Well,
what's the difference between
I think
the
that back
15?
then I was like very rebellious, bad. Yeah, I love to club. I prefer friends compared to my family. I always, lepas saja saya balik dari sekolah, kau akan nampak saya hilang pergi rumah saya jiran. Ya, kalau boleh stay situ lah sampai malam. Then for the sake of mandi sahaja, then saya pergi mandi. After mandi, I go to my friend's punya house. We prepare, pakai baju rumah. But then we have this bag that full of clubbing punya clothes with all of the
Clubbing equipment.
So once yang ada way, we message each other. Dulu kan ada yang tik sejak. Kalau cakap ada way. Cakap ada way sejak. Then my best friend is here. So then kami lompat daripada bilik pergi van. Lepas tu masuk kereta, curi kereta my friend punya baba punya kereta. Rasmatas, here we come. We go to Jugs, we go to anywhere that is open that we know, yang we know the friends, yang akan bagi us free entrance.
I used to get free beer in Jugs.
No, with free entrance, free liquor, everything.
Wow.
And then so how bad I am when I was and then remember that how apa lagi yang saya pernah buat time saya kecil-kecil. I'm naif lah. I think that moment even when I was 19 or 20 when I was in a relationship, that macam immature lah. Anything like regarding relationship, I will post on Facebook, blah blah blah, saying that I hate the relationship, and then but then you still want to continue that relationship. So this is sucks, become. Back then, I think that masih naive. That moment, I was like, I'm still naive. I don't know who I am. The 32 soon in August, and I think I have grown up so much. I realized how important everyone is, and everyone have their own story, and I am my own main character in my story. That makes me color everyone punya life. When I exist, appear in their life, and I think that make change. Yeah. Don't make me cry.
I don't think bad is a word. Is the perfect word to refer to when you were growing up. I guess you just feel like you're not accepted.
Exactly. I mean bad, when people say bad, merokok adalah benda yang
Gaya hidup
jahat.
orang kita.
Ya, lepas tu, tapi sejauh manakah jahat dia? Adakah dia buat jenayah? That bad part, So even merokok pun macam minum. If you say minum, of course minum adalah in sesetengah punya religion is salah lah. But what I mean is, adakah minum tu membuatkan seseorang tu menjadi jahat? Melainkan dia melakukan jenayah.
Yes.
So, bad. What is bad actually and what is good? Even like you go to the church all the time, does it make you a good person? So what is good and what is bad? I always running in my head, all of this spectrum yang dia cakap, apa tu bagus, apa itu jahat ya?
And another thing yang saya perasan, it doesn't matter if you're straight or you're queer or you're whatever. You will go through the same process of adolescent, being a teenager, being rebellious, being bad, and growing up. I'm 43 this year. I have no idea what relationship I am in now. We have 2 kids. I'm still a kid. My wife has 3 children.
Okay.
And it's a process. And for people to say that LGBTQIA community is different than whatever community yang lain, I feel like that is where we as a society do not understand each other. We as a society do not understand each other. I guess we can start here. Kan?
I think basically people cannot banyak orang tidak faham apa itu orientasi seksual, apa itu identity gender, apa itu ekspresi gender. So perbezaan antara jantina dengan gender yang membuatkan orang selalu bahas tentang benda ni, yang bahas tentang LGBT. But when we try to look back, especially we say that the oldest religion is Hinduism and then Buddhism. They all acknowledge, the third gender. So how can you define that LGBT is not exist at that moment? I don't know, because I'm not born at that era. But how can you describe they recognize the third gender, but then when it comes to the current the current situation that we live in, it's like LGBT being discriminated. But I think that the LGBT in Malaysia, we not want yang LGBT punya hak untuk yang LGBT semua. What we want is just like pekerjaan yang sama gender boleh diterima, loan, help, kesihatan apabila pergi klinik-klinik, hospital-hospital, mendapat layanan yang sama rata ba?
Yeah.
It's just like-
when it
it's-
comes to clinic, macam mana kamu? I mean,
Of
I
course,
don't want to say kamu. It feels so jahatnya. Tapi
Yeah.
yeah.
it feels like, of course, when you know your rights, like myself, because I always advocate the transgender women, is you can request the ward to isolate with other gender. Okay, basically keselesaan gender orang yang lain lah. Kalau tidak, memang is actually, as a transgender woman, you're actually supposed to be being put in ward with a female or a woman because you're being identified as a woman.
So do you have to pay extra? Or?
No, you don't need to pay extra, but then you need to tell the nurse or the doctor exactly. Or they supposed to be they arrange a different room for you to make you feel more comfortable.
Is it a problem here in Sabah?
For time being is there is one or two, but then saya happy lah. Everything is started to change already. Everything started to change. Yang the trans women, when they go to clinic or hospital, they know already their rights. They request yang saya mau ditempatkan not just in hospital but in prison or maybe in anywhere that being detained. So dia minta kena request ke tempat yang lebih selesa, which I think that every humans should know your rights, especially regarding your body, and you should protect your rights.
Right. We have stopped for 3 times.
Yeah.
Can we open the floor?
Open, yep.
Ada siapa-siapa mau?
Dia berat sudah selesai dari sekarang begitu. Dia sudah deep.
Ya, terima kasih. Tahu biasa pikiran saya ni. Pecah otak sekarang. Can we open the floor for questions? Kamu lah berpikir sekarang.
You can ask anything that you want to know about my private life. I definitely share it to you.
Or not.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Dia cepat lah.
Thank you, Megan, for your sharing, and also Ethan for having Megan as your guest. Sebab kalau saya kan macam saya sudah macam banyak saya surrounded with friends begitu. But then kalau orang yang baru mau belajar, baru mau open up untuk this whole yang selalu orang panggil budaya barat kan. But, how do you what do you advise for them to start? How do they start? How do they want to? Yeah, kalau dari kau apa macam kau mau advice mereka?
Me, I'm not an advisor, to be honest. But then, I start my journey as a trans woman is, I know I want to become a woman. And but I never learned what is SOGI, sexual orientation and gender identity expression. So I don't know what is the difference between gender and sex. Gender dengan jantina, apa perbezaan dia? And after that, I got rejected a lot from a workshop, but then it doesn't stop me. I learn, getting more and more knowing other trans women, and from there they think that I'm capable to do advocacy, and link me to a lot of NGO. That is how saya evolve like Pokemon. Yeah, it was like evolve, become. I learned what is sex and gender. I learned how to protect myself, and when I come out, I am a bit nervous because my mom did told me is you know that become a trans woman you'll be facing a lot of obstacles, and I know that obstacles that I will face it one day. Definitely will be facing it one day. And yeah, I guess that moment when when at the age of 16, I start to take birth control pill, I guess. Yeah, birth control pill. That moment, I was like, saya mau jadi diri saya, and I feel happy, to be honest. And when my mom sent me to KL at the age of 19, and I start my whole transition at there, my full transition, coming out slowly. I grow my hair. I slowly buy female clothes and started this hormone replacement therapy and saving up some money. Slowly, I think it's slowly. That stage is slowly to come out, like, you know, evolve, become myself. And I find my identity. I find myself, like, a struggle. That moment when I study in KL is struggle. Sometimes I need to eat with 1 ringgit, you know, 1 ringgit roti, or, you know, because that moment I only studying and I don't have money. Yeah. And that's how I think that how I become stronger and stronger and stronger when I'm in KL. Yes, so did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Or Any?
I wanted to ask, like, what was the feeling of you buying clothes that are very, very new to you? Getting all this, I guess you get attention from this, whether it's positive or negative, who cares? And yeah, the overall feeling of this metamorphosis, you keluar dari kau punya kepompong and turning into this. I mean, kau cantik, geng.
I was like,
Kan?
it
I
was
mean,
like, okay.
you can agree with that.
You were at the stage of, you know, kau pernah kena caci, you know, when you first start your transition. Okay, to be honest, when you first start your transition is orang akan cakap kau pon dan cacat. That is what I faced before. Where Megan pon dan cacat lah, kau tidak cantik. So that is the moment, like, you know, you wanted to be more and more and more. And that moment, I remember when I go to clubbing with my best friend, my childhood best friend, is I already have, you know, all of the undergarment, you know, all of the dress already, and, you know, my best friend gave some to me. So I keep it. I keep that dress, and then when terus apabila saya evolve sudah jadi another Megan, then I start to wear that dress, and I feel like I feel happy. I feel happy, and of course, time to say I'm not into makeup, to be honest. I'm not a person that into fashion. I'm not a person that into makeup. I just know to dress well for my own self. But if you want me to dress up for others, no. Saya takut nanti orang jadi pokok Christmas atau badut. So but of course that moment yang beli baju kan yang, because that moment I was like XS, really small. So, and when I buy clothes, like, wow, terutamanya kalau kau pergi Sungai Wang atau kau pergi Berjaya Times Square, Kuala Lumpur kan, yang baju, yang everyone buy any clothes for you. My best friend, you know, my best friend, or, you know, my college punya friend, they buy dress for you without, tidak perlu tengok size apa. Sebab time tu memang XS kan, you can fit any, beli je, beli. So that moment is my happiest and when I was in KL, I have this roommate who is gay, and he encouraged me, you need to go girl, you need to come out, you need to come out, you need to become more and more beautiful. And I was telling my my best friend yang, once I become a trans woman, tiap hari saya akan pakai dress. That moment tapi tidaklah tiap hari, gila susah sebab mau naik bus tu kan, terutamanya time dulu ada bus lenseng kan, belum lagi rapid bus, bus rapid yang famous, bus lenseng di KL. Macam mana kamu pakai dress dengan high heel 20? So of course I did, you know, from my this condominium. I walk with my dress, with my heels, you know, walk to the bus station, and then go to college. Of course lah, being recognized as the that moment, okay, just that moment, only that era was like the hottest, you know, the hottest trans woman in college, you know, become fashion faculty punya, you know, representative macam tu, the model for fashion faculty. It was like, yay, I become featured. But then I still don't know how to dress up. I still don't know how to, you know, putting on makeup. And I think that masa tu pun saya tidak berapa encourage people to use makeup. I was like, why do you want to use makeup? Why do you want to use fake eyelashes? Why do you want to, you know, why do you want to become all of this thing, you know, all of this plastic surgery? Why do you want to grow all of this top surgery, bottom surgery? But then come to a day that I realized is their own preference. Dia orang sendiri happy dengan apabila ada makeup, mungkin dia orang rasa comfortable, dia orang rasa selesa. Then I reflect on myself and I start to, you know, play with makeup. Yeah, and then it's today. I think this is me. That process of growing up is really, really hard. Those struggle, I guess, especially in KL, is no one know, especially when I quit my college, and then after that, all of my housemate dia orang balik Sabah because I was in that Sabah Sarawak punya group. So all of them coming back to the hometown, only like left a few of us, and then I need to struggle is to survive in KL. So bayangkan yang gaji untuk bayar sewa semua, bayar tinggal cukup-cukup RM1 saja yang bolehlah cari roti to sustain myself. But I'm happy is my manager that moment yang working in a hotel marketing company. They now and then they have, you know, this junk food in office, and I get to, you know, makan because you already like plan kau punya financial when I was in KL. Yeah, I guess that's how, as a trans woman, you know, and then you cannot like quit the job all of a sudden. It's because of, you know, that for a trans woman to look for a job is very difficult, especially like, you know, even you're smart, like no one really will be hiring you. Okay, back in KL, it's easy for me to look for a job. You know, it was like so. Senang saja kalau di KL, macam every 30 minutes or every 4 hours I receive, you know, interview punya call, you know. But then semasa saya kembali kepada tanah airku sendiri in Sabah, it was like struggling. I think that is my nightmare. It's because of no one really want to hire you. Like I have applied more than 200 jobs, you know, and then tiada email, tiada call, tiada apa-apa. Like, it's impossible that you're not being called or receive anything from more than 200 application. Like, how come? At least then people are, hi, Megan, yang maybe you want to come for an interview, but you never got, unless you have and I think like Sabah juga is you need to have internal connection. Once you have internal connection, then you can work at that, or else you cannot work. So the first job that I worked in KK when I back here, it was like working as a spa receptionist, and that one because of I know someone that internal, or else I wouldn't get that job. So it's really, really difficult. Jangan kamu looking at me that way.
So, okay, KK kan, my perspective. Kau pergi kampung air, you see the LGBT sex workers, I mean, even if you go sini belakang ni, there'll be a group of them tengah makan-makan. Do you wonder what kind of lives they go through? I mean, I'm not saying you're better off, but the Megan today knows shit. You've been through shit,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
do you wish you can just go sit there with them? Kamu tahu kah? You can live better lives if you know this. Do you? I mean, what do you think when you see other LGBT members of the society?
Become a sex worker. Okay.
No, not just sex workers. I mean,
Understand. Yeah.
whatever.
But I mean, as a sex worker too, I mean, of course, Malaysia doesn't recognize sex worker is a work. But then we all know as well, you know, the oldest job is become a sex worker. That is the oldest job, you know, in the whole world. But then, of course, Malaysia doesn't recognize sex worker. I do when there, I do try to understand the whole community. What do they do, in, you know, for their living? And of course, I know some of them, you know, and I did as well, like, you know, collect all of this, you know, trans women. We have the group of a trans women where we provide, like, protect their rights, you know, especially their rights being violated. So we have this group that they will report to me in that group. So sometimes I will provide some knowledge if I provide some knowledge. But basically is, I guess the trans woman that here I can put is, not just trans women, most of the LGBT people is, we don't just say not LGBT, the whole society is the ignorance of them to know their rights. You know, whenever that they face all of this harassment, all of this. So like the LGBT community is, they know that they can live better, to be honest. They do know that but then they prefer the fastest way. Yeah.
Oh.
The fastest way to earn money. So I mean, the fastest way currently is, you know, become like, you know, OnlyFans, you know, or maybe escort. You know, escort, it doesn't mean, or sugar baby. It doesn't mean that you need to sleep with, you know, other person, but then yeah, they live a luxury life. I wish I could, but I'm not beautiful enough. And I think that, you know, the idea of transgender woman in Asia country is, they set up this whole beauty standard that you need to have big breasts, you need to have skinny waist, you need to have big ass, you need to be fair, you need to have long hair, you know, all of the pointy nose, luscious, you know, lips, you know, sexy. I was like, man, do we really need this kind of things? Yeah. But of course, you know, basically, if they feel happy about their body, just go ahead. But what I mean is, we set the beauty standard too high until we don't know our own rights.
That happens with women too? About beauty standards? They set the beauty standards too high sampai they question, do we need all this?
Uh-huh.
I feel like it happens with women too. Men pun, yang kau mesti MRK material, baru kau handsome. Kalau perut kau begitu,
Saya rasa pasalnya selalu lah benda-benda ni terjadi kalau macam yang baru-baru udah ada punya apa, mesti ada tuh cakap beauty apa, beauty intelligent kan, mesti ada
Beauty with a brain.
ya, mesti ada itu stigma.
And beauty is pain. And I think that, you know, all of this is what we being normalized. You know, we live in the whole beauty standard, like a woman should be, you know, skinny, fair. But then I was like, what is a woman? And what is beauty as well, you know? So it's hard, you know. I'm sometimes as well being insecure, to be honest. It's because of I've been told that I'm not good enough. even though people think that I am beautiful, but then the point is, I still live in the shadow that where people tell me that I'm not beautiful. So it was like you will just live under the shadow of insecure. But then always you wanted to be more and more beautiful, but in my own way. I want to own that beauty. Like, this is me. This is my beauty. No one can take it from me, I guess.
Last question, ada?
Any question?
Tidak? Kalau tidak, saya gulung.
Okey lah, saya lah.
Okay.
Mantap.
Kau lah.
Kau pick up.
And Egan, sorry, dia jadi sip-sip with Megan sudah. For some people dia tiada masalah mau bergaul dengan whoever lah, doesn't matter their gender identity, their sexual orientation, dia okay je. But there may be some people yang dia tidak juga benci, tapi dia tidak juga senang mau berkawan with people who are different from them, I mean. So what would you say, but sometimes these people kan yang orang macam di atas pagar, they don't know yang saya tidak setuju, tapi saya tidak tahu macam mana mau berkawan sama orang begini, maybe lah. So how would you say, what do you think they can do to be a good ally or like be a good friend?
Like myself kan, makin kau benci aku, makin lagi aku di situ di depan mukamu. It was like makin kau benci, makin aku di depanmu. Sebab it was like you just want to be visible, and then you just want to know like, why do you hate me? Like, what did I do wrong? Just because of my gender identity. But apa kesalahan saya? Belum lagi saya salah sudah kau. Sebab saya punya gender identity sejak. Apa kesalahan saya telah buat, yang telah melakukan sampai kau benci betul dengan saya? Yang kau berhabis semua. Tapi by the same time, it was like, this is the moment that you want to shine. Like, you want to like prove them that you are capable. Like the other day when I went to this, this immersion. So I realized this uncle saying that, ala, ada Megan, macam ada species ni macam ni, ada species macam ni. Macam mana lah, sebab they already in their mind is, we are not capable, we cannot do things, like we only just want fun. But then when I prove him that I can do it, I can go hike, I can do the expedition, I finish all of what they require me. Of course, I'm not saying that flying colors, but I prove him yang, hey, hello, saya pun mampu buat yang I zip your mouth. It was just like, yeah, I guess, even though maybe he is not comfortable with, a transgender woman, but in his heart, I guess the perspective is already switched. I think that switch yang looking to a trans woman yang, yeah, dia pun mampu buat juga. So that is why I always like being visible. As much as people hate me, I don't know why, but then I just like, hi, it's me, Megan, But here I am, being crazy, and then, yeah, sharing my story. I know that, compared to other trans women, I am fortunate. But I struggle in a different way, where, all of the this trans woman is to fit into the society. Where I think that I need to fit in to community. Yes, yeah.
Can I answer that question? We start with handshakes, and that's it. Here's the thing. Here's my pergulungan and answering that question. in the beginning of this evening, I was like, apa saya mau tanya si Megan ah? Because I've never interviewed. We've interviewed one sex worker. Were you there? Me and two artist friends. We used to have a studio in Gaya Street. So we go down for beer, and there was one standing there in a stop sign. And at night time, KK punya landscape becomes a totally different system, where if you stand on a stop sign, you have to rent that stop sign from the pimp that owns the place for sex workers lah. So kami tanya dia, kalau kami panggil kau duduk minum cola sama kami mau bayar kau kan? Macam 150 dia bilang. Terus bilang, sekejap. So she was looking at something. Terus that dia tahu ada orang kan, kami tidak berapa nampak. Terus itu orang macam, oh boleh, free lah dia bilang. Hari ni sejak dia bilang. Terus yang, okay, duduklah. Duduk cerita, and we hear so much shit from her that night. Customer dari hospital, doctor, and do all these things to her, and after doing all that, dia minta maaf, and I never would imagine doing this to my wife. Just yang, fuck you man, you would do that to her but not to, I mean, nampak sudah dia double standard ba? And talking to her at that night kan, saya macam, I didn't feel atas. I didn't feel she is bawah, but she's fucked up. She went through shit, and seeing you today, you transcends yang kau macam kalau kau pergi tempat dirang kan yang macam kau dewa-dewa so ni. Yang I know shit, girl. Follow me. I can imagine you doing that. I mean, not to puji kipas whatever, but I feel that your calling is very strong in this community, gitu kan. And the way we approach this, how do I get to know these kind of people? It's just the way that, because I am Murut India, and a lot of my peers back in college, dirang tidak boleh percaya yang sini India. So we have a list of names where they would pick dirang punya housemates, and 9 Indian boys would pick my name because they thought I looked like them. Terus bila I went to them kan yang, "Dey, Melayu ah." No, my grandfather is Malayali. Like, okay lah, boleh lah, kau tinggal lah sama kami. Like, reluctant ni. And when I get to know them, saya pun takut. Because like, NWO ni. Terus yang, NWA, sorry. Anyway, bila mau tinggal sama dia orang kan, I've never had the experience of living with Indian boys. So I would imagine like, how would it be? Macam mana? How do you sleep? How do you make jokes? How do you don't piss them off? And I mean, day after day, then I realized like, sama aja ni. Then open the doors to Chinese friends. I mean, this is KL, so Chinese, Melayu, India in one roof is like, what the fuck you guys doing? And they, sebab Igen orang Sabah, so okay lah, boleh lah. That's the route ah. Kalau kau orang Sabah kan semua orang boleh masuk ni. So I don't know, there's something good lah about Sabahans. And I realized that is applicable to anything, any race, any gender, any species,
different sexual orientation. Yeah,
so
because
it starts with shaking hands.
yeah, I guess it should be that way.
Gantung.
Rolling.
Oh, rolling. So habis na ni? Macam bersemangat terus habis.
Yeah, apakah?
Ada okay, any last words? Because I'll be editing a bit, bleeping out yang tadi tu. But anything else said, I don't think I'll edit much. So Apa yang kau rasa kau mau kasih keluar? Anything?
Tonight.
Yeah. After all said and nothing done.
I guess tonight is I have people that exist in my life. All of you is like I am so grateful because you are the one who color my life. Make me me for Megan, and knowing even though I don't really have like a beautiful, what I say, like a family, a beautiful macam kami pun, my family and my parents is they don't really accept me, but they respect my decision. So deep down, you want your parents or your family to to accept you, to respect you, and to bring you to any occasion. And sadly, until today, that my parents never, they respect my decision, but they never accept the way that I am, that I fighting for, what I'm fighting for until today. I guess that maybe they don't know how to show their love, but I guess this is my life. This is how I think that I need to show it to other people to look into it, to say that, even though maybe my parents, it's not that they don't love me, but I think that my parents, anak saya terlampau mantap sudah, terlampau kuat sudah, dia cakap. So saya tidak perlu bagi kasih yang lebih sudah. Dia fokus kepada adik saya. Maybe it's like that. So I don't know. I always think that way. But then sometimes deep inside you still feel like when your parents doesn't bring you to any, majlis, kenduri, they always just bring my brother. Where the point is, the funny part is the whole majlis people inside knowing you, the existing of me, but your parents never will be bringing you, going to those occasions, to those, function, anything. It's just sad. But yeah, maybe, parents maybe can accept other kids that being gay, being a trans woman, but they couldn't accept their own child. So it's time to change.
And you're watching Zip Zip with Egan, episode I don't know what. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Thank you.